I think finding yourself is actually a scam. And I know that sounds crazy from somebody that has spent the last decade of my life doing deep identity exploration. I went through a transition, a detransition, and I'm retransitioning. I've dug into spirituality, subconscious work, psychology, nervous system, you name it, all of it. And the deeper I go, the more I realize and can't help but see that people aren't struggling to find themselves. People are struggling to feel safe enough and being themselves, because those are two very, very different things. And the way that like self-help culture kind of like talks about like the real you, they talk about it like it's something outside of you. It's like something to chase. And that also makes me think of like the human conditioning problem of like, yeah, having that addiction to something outside of you, always something to chase. Like nothing is ever, good enough, and like you can never slow down. It's always like the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, even in terms of like identity. And I can truly speak to this through my own lived experience. I've gone through so many different identities in this lifetime, and it's because I didn't feel safe enough in being myself. So I kept try on different identities to contort myself, basically, so that I could protect my true self instead of learning how to feel safe in being my true self. Like, even in my detransition years, I can see the different identities I picked up through that. And that, even in itself, those detransition years, those 7 years, did turn into a performance. Looking back now, obviously I wasn't conscious of it at the time, so it wasn't like conscious or like malicious. It was like genuinely like survival based, like unconscious, like performing a version of myself that was more acceptable, more lovable, and yeah, just more belonging to like the normal culture. Like it didn't disturb like other people's like discomfort and things like that. Just learning how to be that like masculine lesbian version of myself. Like that's just something that I got really good at performing, but that was never the true me. That was just a mask, a survival based self, a performance based self. But the scary thing about a performance based identity is that it's so normalized. Not only does it become normalized in your own body, it's so normalized in culture. It's the version that is more, acceptable, more, just, you know what I mean. So that in itself is dangerous and can be scary, because eventually you don't even realize that you're performing anymore. What ends up happening is you start to really identify with like the nervous system adaptation to the performance based self. And what I mean by that is you become the version of you that is judged less. You become the version of you that, doesn't cause up a storm, doesn't cause conflict, and it doesn't make other people, uncomfortable. You become the version of you that doesn't cause discomfort. And that all allows you to get more approval and more belonging in terms of like social conditioning. And because I am somebody that is very introspective and willing to sit with it all and do the deeper inner work, I mean, that's the whole reason that I decided to detransition, so that I could go inward. And during those years, even though I could intellectualize it all, understand it all, have really great awareness, make meaning of it all, my body still held a different meaning than what I was trying to intellectualize in my mind. In my body, there was still grief. In my body, there was still disconnection. In my body, there was still this sense of not feeling safe and being me. In my body, there was still this knowing that I was managing myself in my life instead of learning how to live as myself and live presently in my life. And this is where I think a lot of people get stuck. Is a lot of people think living authentically means that they have mentally figured something out. But living authentically actually has something majorly to do with nervous system safety. Think about it. If your body does not fully feel safe in being expressed in your authenticity, you will adapt, you will perform, you will shapeshift, and you will turn into the version of you that received more love, that received more acceptance, that stayed connected, that stayed loved. And this is why I talk about performance-based identity so much inside of my work that I teach with the liberation method and helping people decondition from human conditioning so that they can truly return home to themselves and live from that place of truth from the inside out. Inside, I talk about it because I'm not just talking about performing gender. I'm talking about performing healing. I'm talking about performing confidence, performing certainty, performing spirituality, performing masculinity, performing femininity, performing being okay, and performing being evolved. I think a lot of people in the healing space are exhausted. I think that they are absolutely burnt out because healing just ended up becoming another performance. And that's also why inside my work we dive deep into human conditioning, because human conditioning is the root of everything. And if we do not decode the human conditioning to begin with, then we continue to build our lives on top of those human conditioned beliefs, patterns, actions, behaviors, you name it. So that's why we have to stop, decode that, ask ourselves, like, how was this all created in the first place? Deconstruct it, rewire it, and then rebuild yourself in your life from a place of truth within. Because I don't think that healing is adding more. That's what the self-help world and work taught me. Now, with the liberation work that I lead and teach, I think that healing is about removing the things internally that disconnect you from yourself. Because liberation is when you stop being at war within with your own authenticity and you allow yourself to live and express from that place. And that's what this journey has really shown me over the last decade, from transitioning to detransitioning to retransitioning. Right now, I'm coming up on 6 months on testosterone soon for my second rodeo here on Earth. But anyways, that's what all of this has taught me. Like, it's not about becoming someone else. It's about revealing the person that was already there underneath the conditioning, the performance, and the fear. And I think the same is true for you. I don't think that you're lost, and I don't think that you're confused, and I don't think that you need to find yourself. I think that there's also a version of you underneath the performance, conditioning, fear, and survival that's just waiting for you to feel safe enough to allow it to exist fully and wholeheartedly. And that's why I also believe, last thing, that destiny isn't something that you find either. It's something that naturally gravitates towards you the more you become in alignment with your true self, whole self, and your aligned self. And that comes from having enough safety in the human vessel to allow that version of you underneath the conditioning, survival, and performance to fully exist. And also from that place, your purpose and your destiny moves towards you as you move toward it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.